Let's be honest, you're not here because you want to manipulate anyone. You're here because you felt something most women don't admit out loud. He stopped chasing, and you don't know why. It's confusing, right? In the beginning, he was all in. Texting first, calling, making plans, making you feel like a priority. And now the energy shifted. He's slower to respond. He's distant. You start second guessing everything. Was I too much? Did I push him away? Should I say something? But let me stop you right there. You didn't do too much. You just said too little of what truly matters. Because it's not about how often you talk. It's what you say that flips the switch in his brain. Men don't chase women who are available. They chase women who know how to speak to their emotional instincts. The part of him that craves mystery, challenge, and connection, all at once. And here's the twist most dating coaches never tell you. You don't need to chase, perform, or prove yourself. You just need to speak the right words. The ones that tap directly into his desire to pursue. In this video, I'm revealing 3 forbidden phrases that do exactly that. They're subtle, powerful, and when used at the right moment, they make a man lean in, listen harder, and chase you like he did in the beginning. Say these and you'll never have to wonder how he feels again. Let's begin. So before we get into the 3 forbidden phrases, we need to understand why they work. Because here's the truth. If you don't know what makes a man emotionally invest, then even the most perfect words will fall flat. You'll say the right things, but he'll still feel distant. And that's not because you did anything wrong. It's because the emotional hook hasn't landed yet. Now let's break the myth real quick. Men don't fall in love with beauty. They fall in love with how they feel around you. It's not your looks, your accomplishments, or how often you're available. It's the emotional experience they associate with your presence. That's why some women who have it all still get ghosted. And some women who seem effortless end up getting everything. The attention, the commitment, the chase. The secret is simple. Men invest in what makes them feel something deeper than surface level attraction. They invest in mystery, in emotional safety, in a feeling of significance. They want to feel chosen, but not like you'd choose just anyone. They want to feel earned, not entitled to your energy. That's the sweet spot. The tension between being desired and being challenged. When a man is emotionally invested, he's not just physically present. He's curious. He's consistent. He listens more. He tries harder. He prioritizes you. Why? Because now he feels something he can't fully explain. He's emotionally hooked. He's no longer engaging from ego or boredom. He's invested from a place of connection. And how do you create that? You create it through your energy, through the way you speak, the pauses you leave, the standards you hold. You create it by not giving everything up front, by being real, but also unpredictable. You don't hand over your heart in the first 5 minutes. You invite him into the experience of getting to know you. Men emotionally invest when they feel 3 key things. Challenge. Not drama, not games, but the sense that they're working towards something valuable. Connection. A space where they can feel seen without being judged or controlled. When you speak from this space, when you use your words with intention, something magical happens. You stop sounding like every other woman. You stop over-explaining, overcompensating, or overthinking. Instead, your energy says, I know who I am. I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to be experienced. And that's the energy that makes a man invest, with his time, his effort, his emotions, and his heart. Now that you understand why emotional investment happens, it's time to learn exactly what to say to spark that feeling in him and make him chase you like never before. Let's get into the first forbidden phrase. Let's get into phrase 1, the ultimate confidence trigger, the one that instantly makes a man see you in a different light. Here it is. You know, I'm not for everyone, and I'm okay with that. Now pause. Let that sit for a second, because when you say this calmly, confidently, without attitude or defensiveness, it sends a message that hits deeper than any compliment, any flirty line, or any attention-seeking behavior ever could. Why? Because it's rooted in self-worth. It tells him without saying too much that you don't need to be chosen by everyone, because you already choose yourself. This phrase is magnetic because it disrupts the script most men are used to. So many women, especially when they like someone, slip into people-pleasing, over-explaining themselves, shrinking to be more likable, trying to mold into what they think the man wants. And men can feel that. It's not confidence, it's fear of rejection disguised as effort. But when you say, I'm not for everyone and I'm okay with that, you flip the dynamic. You're no longer trying to be the perfect girl. You're the authentic woman. The one who owns her truth, whether he approves or not. It plants a seed in his mind. Wait, she doesn't need me to like her. That triggers something primal. Men are naturally wired to value what isn't easily won, and your indifference to being universally accepted That's the spark. Now let's talk delivery. This phrase works best in casual moments, not as a comeback, not with attitude. Use it when you're discussing opinions, past relationships, or when you're talking about something you believe in. Maybe he challenges your music taste, your goals, or the way you carry yourself. Instead of defending or debating, just smile and say, you know, I'm not for everyone. And I'm honestly okay with that. You've just told him I'm secure, I'm rare, and I don't chase accept. That level of self-containment is so rare, it immediately separates you from 99% of women he's ever interacted with. You become the one who's unbothered, not because you don't care, but because you care more about your alignment than his opinion. And something beautiful happens when you speak like this. You become a mirror. You reflect to him where he stands in his own confidence. If he's emotionally immature or insecure, he might feel triggered or confused. But if he's grounded, or even halfway emotionally aware, he'll lean in. He'll want to understand more. He'll chase the calm energy you carry. Remember, this isn't about being cold or arrogant. It's about being emotionally independent. When you can show that you're complete with or without his validation, you trigger the very thing that makes men chase, the need to earn a connection. Because any woman can say, I like you, but a high-value woman says, I like me, and whether or not you see it, I'm still good. Say this phrase, mean it, and watch the way he looks at you change. Not with curiosity, but with respect. That's the foundation of real attraction. That's the beginning of emotional investment. And this is just the first phrase. The next one, it's even more powerful, because it taps directly into his need to feel chosen, without being in control. Let's keep going. Let's move into phrase 2, the magnetic mystery line, and this one is a game changer. Ready? There's a lot about me you haven't even scratched the surface of yet. That's it. Simple, soft, powerful. This phrase is magnetic, because it does what most women are afraid to do. It invites curiosity while holding mystery. It signals to a man that there's more to discover, without giving him full access up front. And that mystery, when done right, is the kind of tension that pulls a man in without you having to chase it all. Let's unpack why this phrase works so well. First, it speaks from self-possession. It doesn't try to convince him you're special. It simply assumes you are. It sends a signal that you carry depth, layers, and a life that isn't immediately available to just anyone. That's intoxicating to someone who's used to surface-level conversations and instant access. When you say, there's a lot about me you haven't even scratched the surface of yet, you plant a seed of curiosity. Now he's wondering, what is she not showing me yet? What don't I know? What's underneath that calm confidence? You see, most women try to build connection by oversharing too soon. They lay everything out, hoping that being open will make them feel closer. But with men, pace matters. They value what they have to slowly unwrap. They bond over time through shared discovery. This phrase gives him something to chase, an unknown to lean into. Now the key here is in the delivery. This phrase isn't meant to be dramatic or mysterious in a forced way. It's best used in light, open conversation. Maybe when he says something like, I feel like I've got you figured out, or when he compliments you. Instead of just saying thank you, tilt your head, give a soft smile, and say you haven't even scratched the surface yet. Boom, you've just changed the emotional temperature of the conversation. He thought he had you figured out. Not anymore. Now he's questioning what else is behind that smile, that calm confidence, that sense of ease you carry. You've gone from familiar to fascinating, and that's where the chase lives. Another beautiful part of this phrase is that it requires you to actually embody it. Don't just say it, live it. Cultivate the depth. Have passions he doesn't know about yet. Have stories, beliefs, and layers that unfold over time. When you live an interesting life, you don't have to try to be mysterious, you are. This isn't about being emotionally unavailable. It's about being emotionally layered. When you carry yourself with the quiet belief that there's more to you than what meets the eye, people feel it, especially men. So what happens after you use this phrase? You'll likely notice a shift. He may ask deeper questions. He may lean in, try harder, listen longer. And if he does, that tells you everything you need to know. A man who's ready for depth will want to go deeper. A man who's just looking for surface level validation, he'll fall off and you'll have dodged the bullet. Remember, there's a lot about me you haven't scratched the surface of yet. Isn't just a line, it's a boundary wrapped in confidence. It's an invitation without desperation. And when said with quiet power, it makes him want to know more, stay longer, and chase hard. Now let's dive into phrase 3, the emotional reset. He didn't expect, and I'll tell you right now, this one, it's not sweet. It's not playful. It's powerful. It flips the energy completely, especially when you feel like he's losing interest, getting lazy, or taking you for granted. Here it is. I'm not here to convince anyone of my value. Read that again. Because this phrase, it changes the dynamic immediately. It brings the energy back to you. It says, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I refuse to beg for basic recognition. It's not said with anger, it's not defensive, it's calm, neutral, delivered in a way that lets him feel the gravity of it without feeling attacked. Because here's the truth, most women who say this don't mean it. They say it after they've over-explained, after they've begged for effort, after they've tolerated too much. But when you use this phrase early, before resentment builds, it's a powerful emotional reset that makes a man stop in his tracks. Why? Because most men don't expect it. They're used to women adjusting, trying harder, explaining why they're different. But when you say, I'm not here to convince anyone of my value, you're telling him, if you don't see it, I'm not your girl, and that's okay. That's an emotionally mature position. That's high value energy. That's confidence without ego. Let's talk about when to use this. This phrase is perfect for moments when he's acting inconsistent. Maybe he's flaking on plans. Maybe he's emotionally distant. Maybe he's acting like he holds all the power in the connection. Instead of reacting with anxiety or chasing, drop this line, not with a tone, not as a threat, just as a truth. Something like, look, I'm not here to convince anyone of my value. If it's not clear to you, that's okay. I'm not the right fit for everyone. That calm certainty is what resets the tone. It tells him, I don't need you. I choose to be here, but I won't fight to be seen. And here's what happens next. You give him a moment of silence. You step back. You let the weight of your words linger. And if there's any part of him that truly values you, he will feel that shift deeply. Because here's the thing. The moment you stop trying to prove yourself, people start paying attention. They start seeing the value you were giving so freely and realizing they were blind to it. But even more importantly, you feel the shift. You reclaim your peace. You remind yourself that your value isn't up for debate, that your presence is a privilege, not a favor. The phrase doesn't force a man to stay. It filters the ones who were never serious. And that's the power of it. It doesn't manipulate. It clarifies. And clarity is attractive. It's grounding. It's magnetic. So what should you expect when you use this phrase? If he respects you, he'll rise to meet your energy. He'll self-correct. He'll re-engage from a place of respect, not convenience. If he does, that's your answer. And you've just saved yourself from months of emotional confusion. Either way, you win. Remember, you are not here to audition. You are not here to convince someone to treat you right. You are here to be, to glow, to offer, and the right man will see it without you having to scream for it. So say this phrase, mean it, and then do the hardest part. Stand behind it. The emotional reset it creates. That's where your power lives. Now that you know the 3 forbidden phrases, let's talk about something even more important. When and how to use them. Because timing is everything. You can say the most powerful words in the world, but if your energy isn't aligned or the moment isn't right, they'll fall flat. But when you use these phrases with emotional awareness, not from fear or frustration, but from centered confidence, they'll hit in a way he won't forget. Let's break this down. Phrase 1, I'm not for everyone, and I'm okay with that. This one is best used early in a connection, not when things are going wrong, but when you're still getting to know each other. Maybe during a light disagreement, when he teases you, or when you're discussing something you're passionate about. The power of this phrase is in its calm delivery. You're not defending yourself. You're simply stating a truth that says, I'm secure in who I am, whether you approve or not. The impact? You set the tone early. He sees you as a woman who doesn't bend just to be liked, and that creates instant respect. You become unforgettable, not because you're trying to be different, but because you're being real in a world where most people are performing. Phrase 2, there's a lot about me you haven't even scratched the surface of yet. Use this when things are going well, but maybe getting too predictable. Maybe you feel the spark dipping, or you sense he's starting to assume he knows you. This phrase subtly reintroduces mystery. It tells him there's more to explore here, but only if you're willing to go deeper. You can say it with a smile, during a fun moment, or when he compliments you. It's not about being dramatic. It's about reminding him that your energy can't be fully captured in a few dates or messages. You are layered and unfolding, and that's what keeps him coming back. Phrase 3, I'm not here to convince anyone of my value. This one is for the moments where his energy shifts, when he's inconsistent, pulling back, or taking you for granted. Don't wait until you're angry. Don't use it to punish. Use it when you feel yourself needing to over-explain or justify your worth. Instead of reacting emotionally, breathe, stay calm, say it once, and then let silence do the rest. This phrase only works when you follow through. You can't say it, and then send 3 follow-up messages. You have to own it with your action. That's the part that resets the entire dynamic, when you don't chase, don't beg, and don't waver. Now here's what all 3 phrases have in common. They work not because of the words alone, but because of the energy behind them. Your tone matters. Your emotional state matters. These phrases are strongest when said with peace, not pain, with softness, not spite. So before you speak, check your energy. Ask yourself, am I saying this to prove something, or am I saying it because I believe it? When you believe it, he feels it. And when he feels it, everything shifts. These phrases aren't lines. They're boundaries, truths, invitations. They open emotional doors or close them in a way that honors your power and creates space for a man to step into his. So use them wisely. Say them when you're calm, and then let the silence speak louder than your words ever could. That's where your impact lives. So now that you've said the phrases, you've dropped those quiet, powerful truths. What happens next? What actually changes when you stop over-explaining, stop trying to win someone over, and instead speak with calm confidence that says, I'm enough and I don't need to prove it? Let me walk you through it. At first, it might feel unsettling. You're used to trying harder. You're used to fixing the energy, keeping things from falling apart, managing the emotional temperature between you and him. So when you shift into this new energy, the I know my value and I'm not here to chase energy, it can feel quiet, maybe even lonely. You might wonder, did I push him away? Should I have said more? But here's what you need to understand, that silence, it's not rejection. It's space, and space is where respect grows. Because the first thing most men feel when you use these phrases is surprise. Why? Because he's not used to it. He's used to women trying to be agreeable. He's used to being chased, reassured, or begged to understand. But when you calmly say, I'm not here to convince anyone of my value, and then step back, that silence starts echoing in his mind. He replays your words. He starts questioning his own behavior. And if he's emotionally mature, he'll start rising to your level. He may reach out with more respect. He may start showing up differently, more consistently, more carefully, more present. Not because you demanded it, but because your energy required it. You've just communicated without force that access to you is earned, that your peace is your priority, that your time and heart are not free just because he showed interest once. And that's where the real shift happens. Not just in him, but in you. Because soon you'll feel something else, relief. A lightness in your chest, a stillness in your mind. Why? Because you're no longer performing. You're no longer editing yourself to be accepted. You'll realize you didn't lose him, you found you. And if he does fade away, let him. Not because he's a bad person, but because the version of you that needed to be chosen no longer exists. You've evolved into a woman who chooses herself. And that version of you will only attract what's aligned. But let me be clear, in most cases, you won't be met with silence for long, because the man who truly sees your value, or is ready to rise to it, will feel your absence hard. He'll remember the way you carried yourself, the way you spoke without begging, the way you said something once, and then let the energy speak for itself. And when he returns, if he does, he'll come differently. Less pride, more effort, less gain, more presence. Because the truth is, when a woman stands in her power, it forces a man to meet her at her level or step aside, and either outcome is a win. So what should you expect after saying these phrases? Expect a shift in energy. Expect a reaction. Expect discomfort and growth. Expect to be seen differently, not just by him, but by yourself. And most of all, expect to walk away with a stronger sense of who you are, no matter what he chooses to do next. That's the real magic, because this was never about changing him. It was about changing what you accept. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this entire video, it's this. You are not here to chase love. You're here to receive it with grace, clarity, and confidence. The way you speak matters. The way you express yourself sets the tone for every interaction, every connection, every relationship. When you use these 3 phrases, not as tricks or manipulation, but as expressions of your true worth, you start to communicate from a place of power instead of fear. You stop wondering, how can I make him want me? And you start asking, how can I show up in my truth? And let the right energy be drawn to that. Because empowered communication isn't about always having the perfect thing to say. It's about saying less, but with more impact. It's about knowing when to speak and when to pause, when to lean in and when to walk away, when to say, I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. Let that become your energy from this point forward. As you move forward in your relationships, romantic or otherwise, remind yourself your words carry weight when they come from self-respect. You don't need to argue, beg, or prove anything. You simply express. You hold your boundary and you allow others to meet you, or move around you. That's feminine power. That's emotional intelligence. And that's the kind of woman who doesn't ask for attention. She naturally commands it. So what's your next step? Aysen, rewatch this video and feel how the energy behind each phrase shifts your entire present. Aysen, practice using them in low-stakes conversations first. Not to test someone, but to embody the confidence they require. Aysen, and most importantly, don't just say these phrases, believe them. Let them come from the part of you that is tired of shrinking, tired of performing, tired of waiting for someone to see what you already know about yourself. You are not hard to love. You are not too much. You are not asking for anything unreasonable. You are just done lowering your standards to fit into small spaces. So speak with love. Speak with power. Speak as a woman who has nothing to prove, only something to offer, if it's earned. The chase? That's not your role anymore. Your role is to attract, receive, and respond, not perform. The moment you start using your words to own your value, you'll stop having to chase love that was never strong enough to hold you in the first place. You're already the prize. Start acting like it, and watch how the world responds.